Colorado, which is right outside of Denver, right up against the mountains, as the foothills as you start to climb up into the mountains. I've been in practice 2 years. I graduated from Life University. I saw this wonderful comment. This is classic. These guys like bickered back and forth about me on Facebook one day. And I'm like, I come back and I'm like, Sarah's like, somebody tagged us in something on Facebook, and she's like, she goes, I don't know, it's got your name associated in it. I said, okay. So I come back there and I look at it, and there's like 380 comments. I was like, man, I am so glad I'm relevant. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm so glad that these guys are so slow in practice that they have time to write about me. I was like, that's pretty cool, right? So I read these messages, like 2 or 3 of them, and I'm like, I'm not reading any more of these, because they're breaking things down. They're like, oh, well, he's got 7-figure practice. Well, I mean, how do you do that? I mean, work my tail off. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not on Facebook typing messages about other people and wasting my time. And it says, well, there's another comment in there. Well, I think he does screening, so shame on him. And then they tag a friend of ours that's screening at a Walmart. And we're talking about this today, and I said, I had this great revelation. I was like, Dr. Kowalke goes, a lot of sick people at Walmart. And some people have opinions about screenings. I haven't done a screening in I don't know how long, though my office does screenings periodically. But I haven't done one in probably over a year. And I'm 2 years into practice. I did whatever I could in the beginning to create a big wave of momentum so that I could ride that momentum and build a cash practice. Because who here wants to have a cash practice? Raise your hand. Okay, here's a better question. Who here wants to have an insurance-dependent practice? Who here wants to get a 17-cent check in the mail for services rendered to somebody in United Healthcare? Raise your hand. Of course not. Of course not. Who here wants to have a pediatric practice? Who here wants to see as many people as they possibly can and have the testimonials and seeing these children? Right? Of course. You know what I mean? And if as many as you possibly can is 200, that's awesome. I mean, that's phenomenal, right? I mean, that's great. Because that's way more than most chiropractors will ever dream of seeing in their lives. But they're like, oh, we need to be respected, and that devalues chiropractic, right? Having screenings or doing certain things, doing dinners with the doc, or doing whatever. Whatever is their thing that they choose that devalues chiropractic, because everybody has an opinion, right? I have opinions of what devalues chiropractic. And I voice them too. So I don't actually shun them for voicing theirs about what they think I do. I think being freaking cheesy in chiropractic devalues chiropractic, right? I think a dude that wears mom jeans devalues chiropractic. Right? There's plenty of dudes. I mean, there's probably a whole conference of them in Atlanta right now wearing mom jeans, talking about how it was in the 80s. Or maybe in California going on right now. And maybe in New York. I'm sure there's a gathering of freaking chiropractors wearing socks and sandals and just rocking it. Talking about how it was in the Mercedes 80s and when they made their millions and all this sort of stuff. Well, we live in a different world today. And there's nobody more relevant in chiropractic today than this group that is represented by a bunch of young bucks rock and rolling chiropractic, serving the masses, building cash practices, pediatric practices right out of the gate. Building homes, living the dream, sewing into organizations that represent what we stand for, chiropractic. You can say whatever you want, that this group, we're hardcore chiropractors, but then we're analyzing urine. Who's taking UA in school right now? Who wants to take UA again in practice? Hell no. I literally had I did pee in the cup the other day for life insurance, and that was a lot of fun. I literally came back to the woman. She took my blood. Last time, I don't know, you guys know Dr. Jacob Sims? Mountain man, kind of like big poser. He, good buddy of mine. Last time I went out to surprise him for his birthday in November a couple years ago, that day he had a life insurance exam. And they took blood from this poor chap, and I got to watch that big tough guy pass out, fold up like a lawn chair right there. I videotaped the whole damn thing. I was like videotaping to make fun of him because I was trying to get him to puke. I'm like, come on, man, get puke. This is bad. Just taking blood out here. I'm like, bleh. I'm trying to get puke. I'm videotaping. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna puke. And he's like leaning. He's like looking at it, and he's looking away. He looks at it one more time, and he goes, yeah. So I was like, oh, Jacob, don't pass out, don't pass out. I gotta try to prop this thing up to finish videotaping. I'm like, no. Okay, good. And I go and grab him, so I get the whole thing on video, so I'll show that later. So I'm getting my blood drawn and peed in this cup, and I'm thinking to myself, to this lady, and I said, I was like, man, I'm sorry that you have to touch my pee. And I said, and she goes, no, it's okay. She goes, it's okay. She goes, it's my job. And I said, yeah, it is. And I'm thinking about myself, and I'm thinking about chiropractors. I'm thinking about it. It's our job to analyze urine in practice to be a better chiropractor. Because there's chiropractic organizations out there doing that right now. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is that what like BJ, is that what DD, is that what anyone, is that what anyone in chiropractic, Sid Williams, is that what they built? You know, of course we have the CCE, we have to depend upon those certain things to get through our educational process. But I think to myself, I'm like, man, I love chiropractic. And I love people being successful in it. But I'll tell you one thing that's very, very important about a cash practice is that the simpler the message, the easier for them to understand, and much more easy for them to commit to. But when we water down, most people can't sell chiropractic, they can't create value in chiropractic, and so they can't get commitment to chiropractic, so they add other things to it. And I'll say this to you right now, I see that take place all the time in my community, and it's far more confusing for the public. When they come in, they're like, man, I was kind of surprised. What do you do for pillows? I was like, I sleep on them. I stuff in my crotch. I love a good crotch pillow like anyone else. I'll say that to them. I was like, dude, you know what a chiropractor should do is they should have chiropractic-specific crotch pillows. That's what they should do. That's the next level. You know, so I'm like, they ask me those questions. And I see my friends that I love walking through life with. They're struggling to build practices, and I see them sell out. I just saw a couple more this week. One doing a fitness class just because he just got into working out. He just got into it. He's like just literally started working out. He's always been in good shape, but he's just started working out heavily. So guess what now he's an expert on? Right? Now I serve a bunch of people that are personal trainers, people that actually own gyms, and they're great people. I love referring to them because I'm too busy locating and eliminating subluxation. That's a fact. Okay? I don't have time for anything else. Man, and if I do have time, I'm masterminding on ways that we can reach more people to do exactly that. Or how we can get together and we can mastermind on how we can all be more successful in doing that. I saw another one doing this advanced nutrition talk on board, like balancing hormones. What the hell do I know about balancing hormones? I got a wife that's like 2 weeks from popping out a kid. I can't wait. I'm like, there's no balancing hormones right now. I'm like, there's no balancing hormones. She's doing great, but it's like, how are we experts on that? Do you guys feel like you're an expert on how to balance hormones? Raise your hand if you are. And if you are, do you have a degree in something that like educated you in order to do so? Because I have a degree in dietetics. I have a degree and a master's in holistic nutrition. I love nutrition. I think it's wonderful, but boy, am I really in love with chiropractic. And so when people come into my office, I talk chiropractic. And when they're saying, oh, is it professional to go out and as an entrepreneur, as a healthcare provider, to do screenings? People have opinions of it. The way we do screenings is extremely excellent. I'm not sitting behind my booth, and with signs and little bowls of candy and spin this to win that. No, we're there with equipment, and we're doing assessments, and we're doing education, and we're literally getting commitment. Right. Then I think to myself, they're like, well, what about it? It's in Walmart. Somebody said that to Rusty the other day. Somebody did screening in Walmart. Guess who's in Walmart? The freaking medical community. They have a pharmacy in it. They're in there screening people all day long. So what's the matter with us going into Walmart and setting up a chiropractic clinic? And we take that over instead of having a pharmacy that is actually running the show in there. It's literally running the show. So I have a pharmacist under care in our office. She takes no drugs. No drugs. She has all kinds of symptoms, but she knows what's in them, so she won't take them. They write over 1,000 scripts a day in this pharmacy. 1,000 scripts a day. And we think that high-volume practices are really making a dent in chiropractic. They're not. They're not making a dent in chiropractic. They're not making a dent in our communities. So that's why we created Launch. We were sitting there. Launch is a little bit of my birth child, and it's a little bit of my baby, a little bit. We're sitting in New York City. We're actually in New Jersey. It really sucked. New Jersey sucks. Got a whole bunch of magnetic valves around the floor. I'm teasing. No, we're actually in Hoboken, which is like a really swanky little town. It was totally sweet. So we're over in Hoboken, New Jersey. It's the Browers, it's the Hess, it's myself, and we're talking about how, because my heartbeat are students and young docs. Because I think it's so cool that we can get together, we create critical mass by a bunch of people being highly successful in communicating chiropractic in a creative way, in an innovative way, in a stylish way. Not mom jeans. Okay? I'm serious about that. And I'm not knocking any moms in here. I know there's some moms in here. None of you guys have mom jeans. Oh, you remember Lee jeans and they come way up here? The belt loops are down there. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. And so I don't understand that stuff. I'm sure they'll come back. But I'll wear them. But it's us doing that together in a creative way. I had a guy come to the practice yesterday. And this literally just impacted my life in such a big way. And I'm sitting there, I'm adjusting, we're having a great day, it was a lot of fun. We had about 7 units at our doctor's report at 1 o'clock. We had 100% commitment. We had over 75% pay in full for care. And I'll tell you this, my office, we did a query recently, we have 81% of our practice pays in full for their care. 81%. It's not a membership practice. It's not a membership practice. It's based on a per visit value. And people are like, well, how much is that per visit? Well, it averages. On the low end, it'll be $30. Now, some people will be like, well, that's not very much. It should be $50. Well, I don't think chiropractic is created for only the rich. I do not believe that. I hope you don't believe that either. It's created for everybody. That's right. But you can't make it dirt cheap, because we had somebody tell us that, one of our friends that's not in Launch, not in our inner circle, that he took care of some of their practice members for 6 months when they were up in New York with the Browers, that doctor charged them $3.50 an adjustment. I'll tell you what, you'll have a lot harder time trying to sell $3.50 adjustments than you will trying to sell $30, $40, or $50 adjustments, I assure you. It's a lot easier because there's a higher value for that. It's a much higher value. But you know, I was taking flack. Somebody was like, this kid is a student. I hope he's in here because I'll kick him right in the throat if he is. I'll tell him I love him afterwards. I don't know if he is. It's irrelevant to me. But he was commenting on Facebook about this, right? And so this is what I saw, and I'm like, I'm not reading this. He's like, well, Michael was an associate. And somebody's like, well, he's one of the fastest growing practices right out of school, blah, blah. He goes, he was an associate in Dr. Hess's office. I fished tampons, emptied trash cans, washed floors at Dr. Hess's office. I didn't adjust the sole. I didn't do a single doctor's report. I didn't literally get to do a report of findings, closes where it ever mattered. I was not an associate at Dr. Hess's office. I was a biddy. That's what I was. I was a biddy. I was a little dirty biddy. That's what I got to do in his office on a regular basis. Why? Because I wanted to learn how to serve. I want to break the flesh. I want to humble myself, do whatever it took, so that at the end of the day, when I sat down, I milked him for every knowledge that he had, like every ounce of information that he could have had. I didn't feel guilty about it. I served his practice relentlessly, so I had no problem with sitting there and saying, Dr. Hess, tell me this, tell me that. What are your finances? Everything. How do you pay a team member? How do you start? How do you incentivize them? How do you bonus them? What do you do? So that when we opened the office, I knew exactly what rate I was going to start my team member at. I knew exactly the questions to ask during an interview. And let's rewind from that. Exactly knew where I was going to go in order to build my practice, in order to negotiate my lease. I knew everything from what Dr. Jeremy taught me, told me. But I didn't feel guilty taking that from him, where I have students come out to my office all day long. Probably no one in here, but come out to my office, and they want to like take pictures of the corners and measure things. And be like, how do you know what I mean? Like, you know, what do you do this? How much you charge per visit? What are your care plans? They don't do a single thing to serve us. And I'll give Londi credit. I did notice this. Londi came out. If anyone knows Londi Haynes, raise your hand, Londi. So Londi actually got connected with us because Dr. Amanda is a lifetime member of the League for Chiropractic Women. She spoke and she heard her message and they got connected, and she's a part of Launch Hand. She comes out to visit our office. She's originally from Boulder. But she hung out, and at first I was like, because I thought you were going to come earlier, and then you came later, and I'm like, oh, I think she's going to flake, and I wasn't sure. And so then she shows up, and she's there at the practice. But she stayed at the practice. She took notes. She paid attention. She asked the team members questions. But this is what I noticed the most, was that when it came for them to set up for the doctor's report, or it came for them to break down the doctor's report, or they were moving in a different direction, she's like, how can I help you? Can I help you guys do this? What do I need to do? That's a big deal to me. Because that's like my heartbeat. That's my like love language. Because when Dan McClimb and Dan Wallace and Wozniak and Coleman and Lisa Norris and everyone and Julie, all these people go and serve the Hess's office or come out to our practices. That's their heartbeat. They're always about, what can I do for you? Because what we're going to do in the community to build a cash practice, all based upon service. It's all based upon you sacrificing what you want to do for what you have to do to gain what you actually like have goals for in life. There's no doubt about it. And so I look at it from this perspective. From start to finish, as you are as a student to what you'll be as a doctor, everything in between has to be congruent from start to finish. I told that joke about that golfer because if you're so out of balance in your relationships, whether it's your friendships or whether it's with your spouse, that's going to cause an incongruence in your life, and that is like Dr. Samantha said, that children can sense fear, right? These people that you're communicating chiropractic to, I assure you, are just watching, and they'll literally find the hole in your bucket. They're wanting to say, I knew you couldn't help me. Or they want to say, I knew chiropractic was the answer. Or you were just like the other chiropractors. They're wanting to say that from start to finish. It's crazy. And it's a very thankless world. And you have to prepare for that now. Because all of us are so giddy and so passionate, we're so excited, and we're untainted, and we're like ready to rock and roll right out of school. And then you get out there, and I'm telling you, it's not easy. One of my team members, I mean, every day are getting beaten up by the community. Every day. I had a gal that started care with us, and I'm going to go back to something here called buds. Okay, so and it's not bud because I'm in Colorado and all the weed. It's medicine, guys. It's medicine. And so, I'm so high. It's medicine. It's like, whatever. And I'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about weed in a second, okay? We're going to get into weed. I had some freaking idiot on the train at DIA, literally like, dude, I'm on flight 420. Colorado, flight 420. I'm like, dude, freaking grow up. You're 55 years old. You're Hess's age. And so everybody's like, he's going to be 40. That's not what they said. Yeah. Love you, man. I can make fun of Hess all night because tonight I'm going to sleep in rubber sheets in his daughter's bed. I assure you, that's going to be hanging off the end of this pediatric bed. And like, thanks for the guest room, Hess. So I'm looking forward to that. Every time you roll over, you're like, did I wet the bed or did I not wet the bed? So I was at this restaurant with my wife, and I'll tell you why I love this restaurant. We're at this restaurant. And I get a phone call. It's about 9:30 at night. We just opened the practice a couple months in, and this lady, she's like, Dr. Michael, it's Miss Betty. I said, hey, Miss Betty. I'm like, Miss Betty. I'm like, thinking it was Miss Betty. I'm like, hey, Miss Betty Roberts. You know, and she's like, yeah, you know. And so I was like, hey, Miss Betty, what's going on? She's like, well, I'm with my sister. She's in severe pain. Yada, 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 yada. You know, the story goes on. She can't move. She can't walk. What can you do? I said, well, I'll come home right now. Is it too late for you guys to meet me at the practice? It's 9:30 at night. It's about 45 minutes from the practice. She goes, oh, I would never do that to you. I was like, thank God. And so she said, I didn't say that. I was like, thank God. I was exhausted. And so I was like, seriously, like, do you want me to come up there? And she goes, no, we'll come in the morning. But do you think you need help? I was like, we'll be on the phone with her. She tells me what's going on. She's had a double knee replacement, double hip replacement. She's about mid-60s. Okay? They told her that she's in such bad knee and hip pain that they need to be replaced again. Because they normally have about a 10-year lifespan. I said, so let me just, I'm a chiropractor, not a mathematician, but if we go back, you were in your mid-50s and you had a double hip and a double knee replacement? And she goes, yes. I was like, so what train hit you? You know what I mean? It was like, how does that happen? How does that happen? So she says to me, she goes, they tell me it's about 10 years, it's right 10 years, and they're wear out, I need to get it done again. I was like, why don't you come in, let's see how we can help you. So come in for an assessment. So she comes in the next morning. It's like 10 o'clock, 10:15. The girls come back, they're like, we can't give her a tour. She can't even walk. She can barely stand up. We don't know what we're going to do to get her into a room. I was like, she has to get into a room. We'll give her a tour after we heal her through principal chiropractic care, right? But we'll give her a tour. Don't worry about it. So we get her back. We get her to the thermography. She's just standing there. They do the thermography. They get her sister's filling out the paperwork. We get x-rays. I'm about to go over the x-rays, and I'm going to do a day 2. I typically adjust before the report, but I'm going to do it in this circumstance. And so I get her into the room to just discuss with her what I'm going to do. And she hands me a paper. This paper listed 28 surgeries that she's had in her lifetime and 34 medications that she's on currently. 34. When you have to walk around with a slip of your medications and your surgeries, you do not have control of your number one asset in life, and that's your health. And I said that to her. So we get her on the table with it by an act of God. Like 3 of us got this. She's not a little woman. We got her on the table. She walked out of that practice with just one adjustment on the first day. One adjustment. She walked out of practice. I don't need applause. Shut up, Lisa. One adjustment. She walks out of that practice. Changed her life. She came back for her doctor's report. She got her tour. Went to the doctor's report and pipped. Paid in full for her care. She's doing great. We do her progress evaluation after her first corrective care phase of care. She's down to 9 medications. I think that's a victory. 9 medications, avoided another double hip, double knee replacement, BS, right? Things gonna add, like, it's a happy story. Like now she's married, she's had 4 more kids, and she's like, it's wonderful. She's running through the field like the medical commercials. No, that's not the case. She comes in yesterday. Actually, she called yesterday. Now she's back under care for about another 6 months of maintenance care, all the visits. She calls my team and she goes, I need to discontinue care, right? And my team member said, well, Max, why? And she goes, no, you may not. And she goes, well, you're going to need to come into the office and sign some papers if you want to discontinue care. That's not a problem. But you do need to sign a couple documents, office policy and state regulations. Sign a couple documents, and then it'll be all set. She goes, I'm not coming in. And she goes, well, you do need to come in if you want to discontinue care. It's office policy, state regulations for us to be compliant. Because, I don't want my practice, somebody saying coming down the road that, like, we kicked them out of the practice or we dismissed them or anything like that. I want them to sign documents that they said that they left our practice. Okay? Also, so when they come back sick and suffering, I said, I told you so, you quit. No, that's not how I would do it, but maybe. I've done that once or twice and it was a prick. So listen. So that's very important. You guys should write that down that we do that in our office because you document everything from A to Z. It protects you. It protects them. So she's like, fine, I'll be there at 11. It's like in 30 minutes. My team member was already shaken from this conversation. I was like, all right, guys, start auditing her account, find out what the balance is. Do we owe her money? Because she paid full for her first phase, but she was paying monthly for her second phase. So I said, do we owe her? Does she owe us? Let's figure it out. Let's get all the documents in order. No worries. She must be having a hard day. Because, I love on this lady. I love this lady with all my heart. So she missed her 11 o'clock appointment. My team member calls her and says, Miss Janet, we expected to see you at 11 o'clock. If you're on your way, just continue over here. But if you can't make it today, let's reschedule it for those time. She goes, I didn't say I was going to be there by 11. She goes, you idiot. And I was standing next to my team member because she answered the phone right at my office desk, and I heard it. I'm like, what is wrong with this lady? I go, I guess you got to get one more adjustment on her. I'll give her diarrhea for a month. One more adjustment. She'll be want me so bad. Yeah, I'll show you that. That's TRT, baby. All day long, you just turn that diarrhea button on and be like, I don't know what happened. You're retracing. You're retracing. So, I wish I could do that. And how soon would that be? Because these kids will come in, they'll like make 25 airplanes with your brochures, at 7. They don't have none. Like, this kid's like, and she's like, oh, aren't they cute? Look at all the airplanes. I'm like, yeah, like, attention deficit airplane, asthma airplane, chronic digestive issue airplane. I'm like, I'm going to kill these kids. But yeah, they're cute. They're cute. The other day, one kid was rolling down the hallway, played like air guitar, my freaking spine, literally from like T2 to the occiput is dangling. It's like totally looking. Mom's like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. They love that thing. I was like, I'm gonna beat the piss out of you. I was like, no way, that kid just broke that spine. Oh my gosh. I don't see Vinny. Is that high five? Like five? Like yay, high five? Good call. So she calls my team member an idiot, and I was like, and I could see my team member. She's a new team member. I see her getting rattled. And she goes, well, what time is convenient for you? And she regroups and she commits to a time. She comes in about 11:30, okay? So I told my team member, I said, I want you to come in when I do this. When she comes in, you love that woman. We do not know what's going on in her life, what pain she's in, what relational things going on. We do not judge that. We love her through it, and we serve her, and we accept her for where she's at. We don't see it as, it's like when your wife's pregnant. It's like, you just remember that she's your wife, and that you love her, and that it's not her that's doing what she's doing. My wife is phenomenal in care. I mean, through her pregnancy, like, she's gotten adjusted almost every single day. She has not had one day of sickness. She has not had any low back pain or hip pain. She has not had any fatigue, zero swelling. Well, she had a little swelling the other day. I don't want to speak in half-truths. A little bit of swelling in the right foot the other day, and just a teeny bit of reflux. And she's gained like 19 pounds. She's like, I have a perfect pregnancy. Perfect pregnancy. I barely noticed that we're pregnant. It's been great for me. I do anything that I want. I'm here, she's due like next week or something like that. And so that's how much I love chiropractic. So this woman comes into practice, and I'm standing next to the side of the front desk because the woman's showing me her pictures from an Italy trip. And I'm like, yeah, these are great. I got to get back. The rooms are full. And Miss Janet walks by, and I just reach out, and I grab her hand, and she squeezes my hand as she's going back to the room to go over her financials with me. And I give her a good squeeze in her hand because I love her. I don't love the circumstances that she must be in right now, but I do love her. So medical doctor, once I go back there, I bring one of my team members with me because I want her to see how we diffuse situations. You have to learn to read people, diffuse situations, and lead them back on track. Okay? Whether back on track is just getting back to loving you again and leaving you with a good taste in their mouth, or back on track getting adjusted again. So I bring my team member back there with me. She doesn't want to be in the room. She was already crying over the situation. She was very upset. So we go back there and we sit down. And I said, Miss Janet, what's going on? And she goes, I just got to stop. She goes, I feel like I've plateaued, and here it comes, guys. And my medical doctor said, I still need that hip replacement. I said, well, Miss Janet, I said, you've been pain-free in those hips for over a year and a half now. I said, do you believe that you need that hip replacement? She goes, yeah, I do. He said, I do. I said, well, I don't think you heard what I said. I said, do you believe that you really need a hip replacement? I didn't ask you what he said. And she goes, yes, I do. She goes, because they only last for 10 years. He told me that. I said, well, we're at 11 and a half years now. I go, what a great business that they can put hardware into that only lasts a certain amount of time and they can do it again. And she goes, Dr. Michael, I understand that you're not congruent with this. And I said, yeah, and you also understand, Ms. Janet, that you employ me to lead you in your health, even when you're not leading yourself. And I said, I want you to understand that we love you very, very much, but I'm not going to let you walk out of here and add number 35 on your list of 29 on your list of surgeries. And she said, I understand that. She goes, I may go try acupuncture then. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was thinking that in my head. I said, why would you try acupuncture? And she goes, well, because maybe that would help the hip replacement. I said, we're all over the place, Ms. Janet. I go, I don't know, I understand. I said, I don't know if there's a new breakthrough in acupuncture, but I have no idea how that stimulates a titanium femur. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you could explain that. That'd be a great revelation for me. And so she says to me, she goes, well, Dr. Michael, I just want to stop, actually, because I'm broke. I said, okay. It's a financial issue. She comes back to me, and she says to me, I said, okay, so what we need to do is we need to audit your account. We need to determine, do I owe you or do you owe me? She comes back to me, and she says, she goes, I just really miss my husband. And I'm like very confused here because the conversation's going all over the place, right? But what I am very clear on is that something's going on with Miss Janet, and that has nothing to do with us. So I stopped for a moment. I said, Miss Janet, I said, I hope it doesn't offend you, but I said, I want you to know that we love you very, very much. But I also want you to know that I don't want you to make a decision while you're really under a lot of distress. I definitely don't want you to regret what you say to like my team, myself, and embarrass yourself. And I said, so I really want to be here for you in any way that I can. And I said, what can I do for you right now? And she goes, I want you to pray for me. So I grabbed hands with my team member, I grabbed hands with her, and we prayed right there on the spot. My team member is getting more comfortable with that. I'm not really comfortable with that. And Ms. Janet said, Michael, I'm still going to take time away from the practice, but I'm not gone, and I'm not going to do that hip replacement again. I said, I'm fine with that, Ms. Janet. I said, I'm here for you when you come back, because I know that we've helped you start to finish, and that you benefit from the care here, where you were on 34 drugs and you're on 9 drugs today. Chiropractic care has been the answer for your life. I just wish that you got that answer a lot earlier. I wish you had heard about chiropractic from somebody a lot earlier in life so you could have avoided all the heartache. Because at the end of that prayer, she said to me, she goes, this was not the life that I expected for myself. Her sister plays golf, who's like 2 years older than her, 3 or 4 times a week, right? Her sister travels to Switzerland, Sweden, all over the place to visit family and friends. But this woman has to ride a cart when she goes to the grocery store. See, for me, we fumble around discussing all the time about who should be practicing chiropractic one way, who should be practicing another way, should this be implemented, should that not be implemented. We created Launch very specifically to create a movement of chiropractors that come out of school doing chiropractic, because she's going to hear about surgery. She's going to hear about opportunities to have urine analysis. She's going to hear about opportunities to have hair analysis. She's going to learn about opportunities for like blood transfusion, detoxification, because she's tried all these stupid things. But what she hadn't heard until her mid-60s was that principal chiropractic care was an option for her life. And so if we have a problem going anywhere in our community, whether it's into the Walmarts, whether it's into the streets, go knocking on door to door. I have people under care in my office from people that we just knocked on their door, their residents, and said, hello, my name's Dr. Michael, and this is my wife, Tara. We just moved into the area, and we're brand new to Colorado. We actually are opening a brand new chiropractic health center here in Golden, and we want to come in and introduce ourselves to our community and meet the people that we'll be serving. And we have people today that are under care from that. Not as many as I'd like, because we knocked on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doors. But it was worth those few, and you never know when the others will return. And so in our practice, we focus very much on being very clear on what we do and how we do it. That communication from what these guys and gals are talking about has to be consistent and congruent from start to finish. So when they see you at the grocery store, you're the same person that you are when you're in your office. When you run into them on the golf course, you're the same person you are when you're in your office. When they see you interacting with your wife from a distance and you have no clue that they're there, you're the same person that you are there in your office. You have to be congruent. You have to represent yourself, your practice, your family, and us very, very well. Because I'm telling you, there's plenty that aren't. There's more than enough that aren't. It's actually sickening what you'll run into. Dr. Josh was talking about how he's going doing business-to-business marketing through network meetings and network marketing. And he said he just can't believe the lack of professionalism that exists out there with other professionals and chiropractors, and how much he set himself apart in his communication, actually his communication when they go out to these meetings. And we teach you how to learn how to be a great network marketer, because when you stand up in front of a group, that's when you need to deliver. It's not time to practice. This is when you practice. I'm very active on Facebook, and I have like 5,000 Facebook chiropractic people, not friends, people. And I'll tell you this, I get so sick and tired of seeing students on vacation. What I don't get sick and tired of is seeing these guys and gals that serve relentlessly and go to practices and learn and learn and learn and learn. So then when they come out, they're not practicing, they're delivering. What do you guys have the most fear of? Raise your hand real quick. Do you have the most fear of negotiating a lease and like building out a space, coming up with capital? Do you guys have a lot of fear about that? Right? A lot of uncertainty. I mean, raise your hand. Because if you're not raising your hand, I know you're lying. Because we all had that. And I had the answers. So who here has uncertainty or maybe some fears? Cool. What about fears of like building momentum, putting butts in the seats? Who has that? Like kind of some uncertainties of that? That's fair. That's very fair. We all do. There's a lot of different things that you can do to diversify and make sure that you get the best numbers in your seats. Because we get a lot of people that come to Amped and Launch and all these different things that are already open, that it's very hard to leave those four walls to get butts in the seats. Who has So, like, I want to say this. You guys have this big, I'm going to close right here, but I want to tell you about bloods, and then I'm going to close. Look at this big safety pin out here. I was in my business class. Who here, everyone see the safety pin? Okay. Who here is confident enough that they can come up and give us an explanation of the safety pin cycle? Raise your hand. One or two? Okay, one or two, three, maybe four. I think there's a couple more here that didn't raise their hand. But that's kind of sad. Because safety pin cycle represents a big idea. So when I was in school, we were in like 11th to 12th quarter, and we're in some sort of business class, and this doc asked how to do that, and nobody could raise their hand, 11th to 12th quarter. How to explain chiropractic through the safety pin. It's just an analogy. And so I raised my hand and I said, I'll do it. And I did it. And literally, like, people applauded, gave me a standing ovation in that class. And I was so embarrassed because I felt like I was showing off. But I was also so embarrassed that my friends didn't know how to do that. To the core of what we do. It's a very simple explanation. And why would we walk by and be like, oh, cool, that thing represents chiropractic, but not know how to do it? What difference does it make that we have it on our campus and we can't deliver it? What difference does it make that we have those monuments back there to the people that created chiropractic, founded chiropractic, delivered it, defended, developed chiropractic, but that we aren't prepared to do it ourselves? And so that has to stop in this room. That has to stop so we can move forward in a direction that we create critical mass of a bunch of young bucks living and delivering chiropractic in a very creative and effective way. Because I tell you, if we want to make a shift in chiropractic, which is absolutely necessary, it's not going to take place with the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs aren't going to do it because they haven't started to practice and deliver to practice in I don't know how many years or decades. You talk 2 years, 3 years, 10 months, 2 years, right? These are people that are doing it in a very relevant way right now. And you guys need to get on board with that so you can be fully prepared and make a decision as to what direction you want to move in life with chiropractic. Don't let it make the decision for you. Too many people didn't have control and the decision is made for them. And it's happening all the time. It's happening all the time. I have friends that that are in practice 2-3 years are still borrowing money from their parents. Who wants to do that? Raise your hand. I mean, I like to borrow a little money from my parents, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, right? Nobody does. Actually, you know what would be a much better case scenario is us giving money to our parents. Helping out our moms and dads. I think that'd be really cool. That's something I'm congruent with. When Dr. Eric Brower, who's not here today, explained to us that he pays his mom and dad's cell phone bill, man, I was a student when he told me that. I mean, that was so cool. Because whose parents pay the cell phone bill right now, right? I mean, there'll be more hands that'll go up to the safety pin question I have. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Well, how about reciprocating? How about being in a place that you can reciprocate? How about just being in a place that you can choose to reciprocate? So one of my favorite restaurants in Colorado, I'm going to close on this, is something called Bud's. It's called Bud's. It's just Bud's. That's it. No Bud's Burgers, not Bud's Bar, no Bud's anything. It's just called Bud's. You don't know if it's a damn food place. You're like, what is that place? It's a hole-in-the-wall in Sedalia, right, just south of the city. Dr. Jacobs' father lived in that area, and when I met him one time to talk about my lease, we met at Bud's. This place has a little, it's like a table tent, is what it's called, is their menu. Just a little thing that sits on the table. It says on the menu, hamburger, double hamburger, cheeseburger, double cheeseburger. That's it. You can't ask for sides because it comes with a yellow bag of Lay's potato chips and a Coke. That's it. You can't ask for Sprite. You can't ask for anything. That's what you get. Why? Because their food, they believe, is best served with a Coca-Cola. That's it. So she'll walk over to you. She'll go, what we have, boys? I'm like, a burger? How you like it? Double? Cheese, no cheese. Cheese. She's like, okay, I'll see you guys in a minute. And that's it. I can't be like, can I get a water? No, a Coke is coming to my table. You better bring a bottle of water. It's coming to your table. This place, the hole in the wall, has been there 40 years and has never marketed and has an hour to 2 hour wait every single day. Why? Because when you go to Bud's, you know exactly what you're getting. It's very, very clear. The patron does not dictate what they're going to get. The owner does. Because they know that what they do with excellence, and it's exactly what the people want. We have to walk it. So Tara, literally, freaking Tara, Pregos, she's driving around, I'm working my tail off, and I get a text message that says, it's Bud's time. And I'm like, what the heck? She's down in Sedalia. She's getting a Bud's all by herself, and I'm like, I'm freaking here. I got Miss Janet yelling at my team members, and you're eating burgers? So you get with cheese and without cheese. With cheese. Don't you be my baby Coke. Don't you do it. And so, but it's that sort of clarity that we need to walk in our practice. That's what's made us so successful. Because when I failed in school, which I did many, many times, and when I actually got out and they're like, you're done, don't fail anything else, just get out, we don't want any more money, you're done. And I had already said goodbye to the Hesses, I said goodbye to their team, and I was ready to move on. I did not want to go back to the Hesses, but I was delayed. So phone call after phone call after phone call from doctors all over the country who are asking me to come out, and then they pay me $1,000 a week. They give me this, they give me that, they do all these things, fly me back and forth for my board reviews, pay for my board reviews, whatever they can do to get my butt out there because they knew we were prepared, right? Knew that we would enhance their lives and their practice. Well, when Hess called, he said, Michael, he goes, I'd love for you to come. I'm not paying you $1,000 a week, you wish. He's like, but you can come down here, you can work with the team, serve, and get a little bit deeper in this. I was very tempted to go learn another version, another example. Oh, it'd be cool, go check out that doctor's report. Fail. I knew what I knew, all I had to do is go and know it better. So I went and I stayed. One of the biggest things that you can do to bless your lives, guys, is pick something, own it, and stay to the finish line. I told you that, Londi. It's like one of the best things that you can do. Be an expert in that. Be an expert in like buds. And you will have no insecurities of trying to add things to it to fluff it up. You'll deliver with extreme excellence and expertise that allows people to be drawn right into it. And so when you go to close them, you know it's exactly what they need, and they know the same thing, and they commit, and you build a cash practice built on over 80% paid in fulls and a 7-figure practice in 9 months. It can be done. We see it all the time. Nobody in chiropractic is building practices as fast as AMP is building right now. Nobody. Not with the volume, not with the return, not with the new practice members, not with the cash income. Nobody. Nobody. And I'll say that. I'm on the internet saying it. Nobody. Why? Because it's relevant. It's people doing it today with just clarity, with inspiration, and to complete confidence from start to finish, guys. Thank you so much.
Man, that was awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up tonight. We'll see about who got, before you go, I want to do I want to ask 3 favors from you. The first is this. Raise your hand if you got something on tonight. Great. The second is this, is who's bringing a friend tomorrow morning? Great. So you obviously all know people should have been here. Maybe they could for a certain situation. So be here. Who's coming tomorrow? Got 9/11 here. We're going to get some whiteboards in here. Great. All right, so last thing I want you to do, and if you guys can do anything for us tonight, this is what I want you to do, okay? A lot of you got blessed, and, met us first time, you've seen us, or you've been at different events. Take your phone right now, right? Take your phone. Everybody's got a smartphone. Jared, come on, man, I'm not talking to you. So take a picture, or put a statement that maybe you had, you heard tonight. Go to Buds. And then, put hashtag launch store, hashtag AMP. Right? Cool, you guys don't do that, right? Take a picture. Dr. Andrea, watching you. Mike, you see her there? She's like, I listen to you all week.
I'll just take a picture of you.
No, I said she's not telling me. What's that?
It doesn't have to be of him.
Yeah, you just heard a quote. Take a selfie. Over at Launch Store. Hashtag Launch Store, hashtag AMP. And put that on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on Instagram, and that'd be awesome. We appreciate you. Because we need to get the momentum, keep the momentum going. I appreciate every one of you for sacrificing Friday night to be here with us. I hope you're blessed. Tomorrow morning, we're back here at 9 o'clock. We're probably here a little earlier than that. If you want to come hang out. Bring your questions. It's like, yeah, questions. I got all kinds of questions. Bring them tomorrow. We'll be answering questions. We have bagels. We have coffee. We're going to be breaking down the whiteboards, opening a practice, budgets, scenarios, things like that. Dr. Qualke comes from engineering background. You heard him time, and he does an amazing job of this. We're going to break down the systems and procedures very quickly, get you plugged in. It's going to be awesome. So hopefully you're here tomorrow morning. Make sure you Facebook us, Instagram us. Awesome. Friend us on Facebook if you haven't already. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in here. Woo!